Every passing year comes with a couple of certainties. We get older, man-made horrors beyond our comprehension are produced, and a new Dragon Ball game comes out. This year, that last one is Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, a multiplayer online battle arena, also known as a MOBA, similar to League of Legends and Pokemon Unite. But this one's automatically better because you can play as Krillin. Krillin makes every game better. I made a video about this game during its first online beta test, back when it was known as Dragon Ball Project Multi. They grow up so fast. I had both good and bad things to say about the game, and offered some feedback regarding some changes that could be made before the full release. This video is more of an update, recapping my original points, and checking to see if they've been addressed with the full version of Gekishin Squadra. The initial beta test was run in September 2024, through Steam for PC, and the Google Play and Apple stores for mobile. I only spent around 6 hours playing, but that was long enough to experience everything that the game had to offer at that time. The initial roster was comprised of 10 characters, split across the roles of damage, tank, and support or technical. You could only access a few characters from the beginning, and you had to unlock the rest of the roster using the in-game currency, which you could earn by playing the game, or by giving Bandai your long credit card number, the expiry date, and the 3 digits on the back. The main game mode is your standard MOBA. You need to capture the enemy team's Dragon Ball by destroying all 4 of their gods of destruction, which I'm just going to call towers, which are split across an upper and lower lane. You would have to switch from attacking the enemy's towers to defending your own, since they were only vulnerable for limited intervals. Mini-bosses like Android 16, Nappa, and
Monkey with massive testicles
would appear on the map at specific times and give you bonuses for defeating them. Towards the end of the beta, they added a new mode which was called Land Grab, and it was essentially just domination from Call of Duty. Both teams would need to capture zones on the map to score points, and the first to 500 won the game. It was a pretty basic game mode that I didn't choose very often, and I don't think that anyone else did because the queue times were insane. After the test period was over, I was content with the direction that the game was heading in. The characters were easy to pick up and play without feeling too similar to one another, and the models and presentation were also pretty good. The cosmetics were actually quite cool too, including outfits from the greatest filler episode of all time. It's looking likely that we'll get more cosmetic options in this than in Sparking Zero, which is just kinda tragic at this point. I also appreciated how much of the series was referenced here, including original Dragon Ball, Z, Super, and some of the movies. While I was cautiously optimistic, Project Multi was far from perfect. There were small quality of life changes I thought that the game would benefit from, like adding in-game voice chat and bringing the game to consoles. Gameplay-wise, the tanks were absolutely busted. They were able to do a similar amount of damage to the actual damage characters, but they also healed themselves while doing it. They were super fun to play as, but they were abysmal to play against. I was hoping that either the tanks would get nerfed or the other roles would be buffed to keep the game balanced. And with the game being free to play, I was really worried about microtransactions being a major issue with the full release. Characters were a pain to unlock without using the premium currency. And just to make the process that much more laborious, you needed to meet a spending threshold in the shop to earn the right to buy some of the characters, so they were locked behind an additional condition. Trust me, you do not need to do that for Kid Gohan. He is not a block of cheese on the aisles of British supermarkets. I said in my initial video that these characters don't need to be locked away like this. Just make them slightly more expensive than the other characters if you want to make them more difficult to obtain. There was another network test in June 2025 for more platforms, now including the Switch and PlayStations 4 and 5. I didn't participate in this one, so they may have already addressed some of my issues back then. For one, they added more characters, like Dabura, Caulifla, Majub, and Baby. So now my joke about there being no GT characters has aged like milk. And the movies get representation since Cooler is included in the starting roster. And for GT we have... the characters fit into one of 3 team roles. But what's the game like in its full glory? The full version of the game, now called Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, released on the 9th of September 2025 for PC, mobile, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch, but not Xbox. That's what you get, Phil. You keep cancelling games and closing studios, you miss out on the Dragon Ball mobile game. That'll show him. The main game mode is largely unchanged, with you still needing to destroy the enemy towers to reach their Dragon Ball. However, now you can only damage gods of destruction using a Gekishin burst, an attack that forces you to stay still and charge it. These can be interrupted by enemies if you're attacked before your charge reaches a certain threshold. I think this mechanic prevents games from ending too quickly, and it means that you need to strategize to be able to attack the enemy towers. You might have to lure an enemy away, or defend your teammates so that they can charge their Gekishin burst. Each game now begins with 2 random mechanics being added to make it more interesting. These include certain attacks being boosted, instantly being able to rank up an attack to level 3, and EX Cell Juniors giving boosted XP, and these feel kinda busted. One thing I wanted to mention that I didn't notice during the beta is that the game now becomes a visual clusterfuck towards the end of matches. All of the attacks become larger and more visually intense as you level up, so teamfights towards the end of a match, and especially when a dragon shell's being fought over, are really difficult to track. Outside of the main game mode, Land Grab makes its return alongside a new mode called Veggie Battle. It's nothing major, you just collect vegetables to fill your container and defend it from the enemy team. But it's quirky and it ties to Goku being a farmer, so it's neat, I guess. Unfortunately, I don't think these submodes are very popular because it takes a while to find a game and it doesn't matter what role you're playing. And most of the time I've found myself in games with the same people back to back. Since Squadra is an online game where you compete against other players, balancing and matchmaking are extremely important. And unfortunately, this is where Squadra kind of falls off a cliff. The tanks are still the strongest characters and therefore the most fun to play, and this is reflected in the queue times being much longer than they are for the other roles. It gets to the point where the game actively tries to incentivize you with bonuses to play the other roles. In terms of matchmaking, you'll either get paired with people who know how to play the game, or people who sit AFK and spawn, overcrowd lanes and unevenly distribute XP, and think that Kid Buu is stronger than Buhan. I think your enjoyment with the game will be heavily influenced by the teammates you get paired up with. If your team's awful or even full of bots, it's almost impossible to single-handedly carry the game to a win, so you end up getting steamrolled, which just isn't fun. I'm not a super high rank myself, but I've seen threads online of people having the same issue in the higher ranks. I think the fact that your rank doesn't decrease for losing contributes to this issue, because someone could probably power level their way to a higher rank if they're continuously carried by their teammates. Something else I really don't like about how the online side of the game is managed is the fact that one player quitting during a game ends it for everyone. Surely it's possible to have a bot take their place and continue the match. Yes, the affected team would be at a disadvantage, but it would stop everyone playing the game from losing the rewards that they got during the match.
Well, what do I win? Nothing! Now get out! What? Get out!
Since the beta, the character roster has expanded massively. At the time of this video, there are 24 characters in the game, with each season planning to introduce brand new ones. All of the characters feel unique, and they come from all over the series. Personally, my favourite characters to play are Caulifla, Piccolo, and 17 from Super.
Nobody can beat me when I'm Super 17!
So far, Season 1 has added Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan Gotenks, and God of Destruction Toppo is coming in the future. I really like that every character plays differently, even within the same class. For example, Buu and 17 are both technical characters, but they provide support in different ways. Buu can heal teammates, slow down enemies and force them out of the way, while 17 focuses on debuffing enemies while giving his own teammates temporary extra HP with his barrier, which can really come in clutch during tight situations. I think the new characters are great. I do love me some representation for the baby. But actually unlocking the characters is a different story. You unlock characters by completing the Star Collection. You get the opportunity to choose a new character every couple of levels. This level goes up every time you increase one of your current character's star ratings by spending hero memories and Zenny. But grinding for these is easily one of the most tedious things I have ever experienced. Hero memories are earned just by playing the game. At the end of a match, whether you win or lose, you'll get hero memories. It sounds fine so far, until you realise that the number of memories and the character that you get them for are determined by RNG, and after a couple of matches, you get far fewer memories. You'll go from getting 60 to 120 memories a game, to getting around 11. Zenny is one of the 3 main currencies available in the game. It's only used for upgrading star ratings, and the only way you can earn it is through the Battle Pass. It's available in stacks of up to 3,000 and is available every few levels. The hoops you need to jump through to get Zenny, and the diminishing returns of grinding for hero memories are included by design. The game is trying to give you as many reasons as possible to spend your money on the premium currency to bypass the need to grind. The other kinds of currency in the game are EX tokens and Dragon Gems. EX tokens are given in return for duplicate items that you get from opening G capsules, which are essentially loot boxes. These tokens can then be exchanged for special skins, which are essentially just fancier versions of the paid skins. So Gekishin Squadra is now the official debut of Underground Rave Boy Trunks. The Dragon Gems are your paid currency. I get that Bandai needs to make a return on investment since the game's free to play, but these microtransactions feel ridiculous. To start off, the brand new characters every season are locked behind these Dragon Gems, and you can only get them in 2 ways. You can buy them, or you can get stacks of 15 to 20 gems from the Battle Pass. Characters cost between 120 and 250 gems. On top of the prices for new characters, rare cosmetics are somehow even worse. You can get common cosmetics like stamps, palette swapped regular costumes, finishers and emotes through the G capsules. But the premium outfits like Trunks without his jacket and battle damaged Goku need you to pay 350 Dragon Gems. Yes, Piccolo, we see the fit, but it's not worth more than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And what's even more annoying is that some cosmetics from the beta, like the driving outfits or Vegeta's Badman shirt, still aren't in the game. But I can guarantee you now, they will be added in later seasons to try and get players to buy more Dragon Gems.
Mom, can you give me some money, please? Stop fucking around!
In the end, I'm kind of torn on how I feel about Gekishin Squadra. On the one hand, I think the game can be really fun and it's easy to jump into, but I don't think the gameplay loop of the main game mode is enough to keep me engaged. But that might just be a side effect of my brain being fried by TikTok and YouTube shorts. I think the matchmaking is an issue that desperately needs addressing, because win or lose, every game feels one-sided, and there needs to be a more reliable way to grind for Zenny and hero memories, because right now trying to unlock all the characters feels like a slog. I hope that the regular updates continue. I think releasing brand new characters gradually every season is a good strategy to keep the game alive for a long time, but it needs brand new free content to be released at the same time, and not just palette swaps for the brand new characters. Otherwise, players who don't want to spend money on a free game will just keep unlocking cosmetics for characters that they can't use, which feels like a slap in the face.
Now it's all DLC and microtransactions and fuck you, do you want a chicken nugget?
Right now, I'd give Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra a 5 out of 10. I can see the positives, but I genuinely struggle to play more than a few games at a time. If you enjoy the game, that's fine, more power to ya. It just didn't click with me the way that I wanted it to.